The planet Xyrath glowed under two suns, its sky painted with shades of pink and violet that shimmered across the crystalline towers of the capital city. It was a place unlike anything Alex had ever seen. He had traveled far from Earth as part of the human delegation, tasked with observing and learning from one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. But even with all his preparation, nothing could have prepared him for the sheer beauty and strangeness of Xyrath. He walked alongside other delegates, their formal robes brushing against the polished floors of the palace. The halls were lined with tall, translucent columns that seemed alive, pulsing with a soft light. The air was cool but carried a faint fragrance of flowers that Alex could not identify. Every sound echoed slightly, giving the palace an almost dreamlike quality. "This is incredible," Alex whispered to himself, though no one nearby seemed to notice. His eyes were wide with wonder. Other humans might have been nervous or overwhelmed, but Alex's curiosity always overpowered any fear. Ahead, a massive hall opened up. It was here that the grand ceremony would take place. Alien dignitaries from dozens of planets had gathered, each more elegant and exotic than the last. Some floated above the ground, their long limbs moving gracefully in the air. Others had shimmering scales, or skin that reflected light like glass. Despite the diversity, a hush fell over the crowd as all eyes turned to the central dais. On the dais stood the alien queen, Arinya. She was tall and regal, her posture perfect, and her presence commanding. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver under the light of the twin suns. Her eyes were deep and intelligent, a rich violet that seemed to look straight into the soul of anyone who dared meet her gaze. Many whispered among themselves, barely able to believe that she would ever consider a mate. Alex felt a mixture of awe and respect. He had studied alien cultures, including their traditions regarding marriage and diplomacy. But nothing in the books could have prepared him for the feeling of being in the Queen's presence. There was an air of mystery around her, a weight of authority and isolation. The palace announcer's voice echoed through the hall, translating the Queen's speech into multiple languages. "I, Queen Arinya of Xyrath, stand before you today to announce a matter of great importance. I seek a partner, one who will unite not just Xyrath but the galaxies in harmony. Many have feared this path. Many have turned away. But I remain resolute. Who among you will join me?" A tense silence followed. Delegates shifted nervously, whispering among themselves. There were visible signs of hesitation, even fear. Alex had read about the curse that surrounded the Queen, an ancient legend that anyone who married her would bring misfortune to their homeworld. No alien had dared approach her for centuries. Then something unusual happened. Alex felt a calm certainty settle over him. He stepped forward. The hall went even quieter, as if the very air was holding its breath. Eyes widened, whispers stopped, and many delegations stared at the human who dared to move. "I accept," Alex said clearly, his voice carrying through the hall. "I will be your partner." The Queen's violet eyes widened slightly, a subtle flicker of surprise crossing her expression. Alex continued, "I am not afraid of legends or curses. I wish to understand, to learn, and to walk beside you, not because of fear or power, but because I see the person before me." There was a long pause. The alien advisors whispered among themselves, and the delegates looked at each other in disbelief. Many had expected hesitation, excuses, or polite refusal, but not this. Alex's courage and sincerity were unlike anything they had seen. Queen Arinya studied him. She had encountered many beings who sought to impress her with wealth, influence, or cunning, but this human was different. There was no arrogance in his voice, no hidden motives, only honesty and determination. Slowly, she nodded. "Very well," she said, her voice smooth but strong, echoing through the hall. "You have accepted a path that many have avoided. If you truly wish to join me, you must understand that this will not be easy. The palace and my world test those who seek union with me. But courage and sincerity may yet see you through. Alex bowed slightly. I understand, Your Majesty. I will face whatever trials are necessary. The tension in the hall eased slightly. Delegates murmured quietly, some with admiration, others with disbelief. None could deny that Alex's action was bold. The Queen's advisors, though cautious, began to arrange the next steps, while some alien leaders whispered their doubts. Could a human really succeed where countless others had failed? Alex was led through the palace corridors to a room where he would prepare for the trials ahead. The walls were covered in patterns that shifted subtly, as if alive. Soft lights adjusted to his movements, creating an almost magical ambiance. He paused to take it all in. The palace was more than just a home. It was a living entity, a place that would observe and test him at every turn. As he waited, Alex thought about the responsibility he had accepted. This was more than a personal choice. By agreeing to stand beside the alien queen, he was representing humanity in a way no human had before. It was a chance to show that humans were capable of courage, wisdom, and compassion on a galactic scale. The door opened, and an alien attendant entered, its form elegant and fluid. Follow me, it said in a melodic tone. The first trial awaits. Alex nodded. He knew the path ahead would be challenging, but he felt ready. Every step he had taken in his life, his studies, his travels, his encounters with new cultures, had led him to this moment. He would face the unknown with open eyes and a determined heart. The trial chambers were vast and filled with puzzles designed to test intelligence, empathy, and judgment. Alex observed carefully, analyzing each element. While other beings might have panicked at the unfamiliarity, Alex approached each challenge methodically, relying on logic, observation, and his understanding of human intuition. Hours passed as he moved through the chambers. Some tests were physical, requiring agility and precision. Others were mental, demanding insight into the nature of life, ethics, and leadership. Alex faced each with patience, learning to balance caution with boldness. At one point, he encountered a chamber filled with mirrors that reflected not only his image, but also visions of possible futures. Some were dark and frightening, showing failure, loneliness, or conflict. Others were bright, full of possibility and unity. Alex focused not on fear, but on what he could learn. Each reflection guided him, teaching him that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. Finally, he reached the last chamber. A crystal pedestal hovered in the center, glowing with a soft light. Alex stepped forward, understanding instinctively that this was the culmination of the first trial. He placed his hand on the pedestal. A warm energy flowed through him, filling him with clarity and calm. It was a recognition of his resolve, a silent acknowledgement that he had faced the unknown and proven himself worthy so far. As he exited the chambers, he was met by the Queen herself. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes held a new light, curiosity mixed with respect. You have done well, she said. Many have failed before you, but you have shown qualities that are rare. The path ahead remains difficult, but this first step has proven that courage and honesty can open doors that fear keeps closed. Alex smiled. I am ready to continue. I wish to understand your world and to walk beside you, not only in ceremony, but in life. The Queen studied him silently for a long moment. Then she nodded slightly. We shall see, human. The galaxy watches us, and so does fate. Let us proceed carefully, for there are challenges ahead that will test not just the mind and body, but the heart. Alex nodded, feeling a mixture of anticipation and determination. This was only the beginning, but already he felt a connection, a sense of purpose that went beyond personal courage. By stepping forward, He had not only defied fear, but he had begun a journey that could change the destiny of two worlds. Outside the palace, the twin suns of Xyrath dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows over the crystalline city. The air shimmered with light, and the future seemed full of possibility. Alex walked alongside the Queen's attendants, ready to face whatever came next. For the first time in his life, he felt that he was exactly where he was meant to be, and somewhere deep inside, he knew that the choice to accept the Queen's hand without hesitation would mark the start of an adventure that would shape not just their lives, but the future of the galaxy itself. Alex followed the crystal-lit corridor deeper into the palace, his mind buzzing with anticipation. Every step echoed softly, blending with the distant hum of Xyrath's energy cores that powered the city. He had completed the first trial, but the Queen had made it clear that the journey ahead would be far more challenging. "This way," the attendant said, its voice smooth like flowing water. Its body shimmered faintly, reflecting the light in subtle rainbow patterns. Alex noticed how fluidly it moved, almost as if it were not entirely bound by gravity. "The next stage will test your understanding of this world and your ability to act wisely when confronted with the unknown." Alex nodded, keeping his curiosity in check. He had learned that Xyrath's beauty often masked danger. Even a small mistake could have consequences, and he needed to remain alert. As they approached the next chamber, he could see a large archway etched with glowing symbols. Some resembled familiar geometric shapes, while others seemed entirely alien, twisting and shifting as if alive. "The trial within is called the Hall of Decisions," the attendant explained. "Each path leads to a different outcome. Choose wisely, or risk being lost to illusions. Remember, the test is not only of intellect, but of judgment and character." Alex took a deep breath and stepped through the archway. The chamber inside was immense, with a ceiling that seemed to stretch into infinity. Paths of light snaked in every direction, each shimmering in unique colors. Holographic projections appeared along the paths, showing visions of different worlds, challenges, and outcomes. Some were vivid and beautiful, while others were dark and chaotic. He paused, studying the projections. One path showed a world flourishing with life, a city of harmony and peace. Another displayed a battlefield scarred by conflict, with creatures struggling to survive. Yet another showed a lonely planet where a single being wandered endlessly, isolated and afraid. Alex realized that the trial required more than observation. It demanded choices. Every decision would shape the vision he would ultimately walk into, and perhaps even influence how the Queen perceived him. He stepped onto the path leading to the world of harmony first. As he walked, a soft voice echoed in the chamber, almost like a whisper carried by the wind. "Do you choose safety, or do you choose challenge? Do you act for yourself, or for the greater good?" Alex paused, considering the question carefully. Humans often acted out of fear, seeking the path of least resistance. But he knew that courage required more than bravery. It required wisdom and compassion. He turned his attention to the chaotic world, studying the suffering creatures and the conflicts that raged there. Without hesitation, he chose the path that led toward the challenge. He knew that understanding the Queen's world meant facing its difficulties, not avoiding them. As he walked forward, the projections shifted, showing him scenarios where he would need to negotiate disputes, solve problems, and act with integrity. Each step required careful thought, and sometimes he had to act quickly to prevent disaster within the illusions. Hours seemed to pass as he navigated the Hall of Decisions. Some illusions were designed to tempt him, visions of power, wealth, or admiration. But Alex resisted. His mind stayed clear, focused on the purpose of the trial, to show his character and the sincerity of his intentions. At one point, a projection of the Queen appeared before him. Her violet eyes glowed with intensity, and her voice was calm but firm. "Many have entered this hall seeking favor, Yet few understand the weight of choice. To lead, one must see beyond personal gain and act with vision and courage. Do you understand this, human? Alex met her gaze, feeling the presence of her intelligence even within the projection. Yes, Your Majesty, he replied. I understand that true leadership requires responsibility, empathy, and the willingness to face challenges even when they are difficult. The projection of the Queen smiled faintly, and the illusions shifted once more, revealing a final challenge: a room filled with delicate crystals, each glowing softly. Some were solid and safe to touch, while others contained hidden energy that could harm if handled carelessly. Alex understood immediately that this test required a careful balance of logic and intuition. He studied the crystals, noticing subtle patterns in their glow. Some pulsed gently, like a heartbeat, while others flickered irregularly. He remembered his training in physics and observation, combined with his intuition about living systems. Carefully, he reached out to the first crystal, feeling the warmth and energy flowing through it. He adjusted his movements, gently probing each crystal to understand its nature. Time seemed suspended as he worked. Each correct choice caused the room to shimmer brighter, while mistakes dimmed the light. He relied on patience and observation rather than force, showing that he could act wisely and calmly under pressure. Finally, he reached the center of the chamber, where the largest crystal floated above a pedestal. Its glow was steady, warm, and inviting. He placed his hands on it, and a wave of energy flowed through him. He felt clarity and calm, as if the palace itself was acknowledging his progress. The attendant reappeared, its form glimmering with approval. You have shown intelligence, patience, and understanding. These qualities are rare and precious. The Queen will be pleased with your performance, but know this: the trials ahead will test not only your mind, but your spirit and heart. Alex nodded, feeling a quiet pride but also a deep respect for the path he had chosen. He understood that every step in the palace was more than a test. It was a journey to truly understand the alien queen, her people, and the responsibilities he had accepted. As he walked through the palace halls toward the queen's private chambers, he noticed small details he had missed before. Patterns in the walls that seemed to tell stories, subtle light shifts that guided his steps, and gentle sounds that created harmony in the air. Every element of the palace was alive, not just in technology, but in purpose, designed to teach, guide, and challenge those who entered. The Queen awaited him in a balcony overlooking the luminous city. She regarded him with her usual composure, but there was a hint of curiosity and warmth in her gaze. You have performed well, she said. Few beings can navigate the halls with such clarity and care. But you must understand that knowledge alone is not enough. Trust, empathy, and courage are tested in ways that may not seem logical. Are you ready to face what comes next? I am ready, Your Majesty, Alex replied. I wish to learn everything necessary to walk beside you, not just as a guest in your palace, but as a partner in understanding and leadership. She studied him silently for a long moment, then nodded. Very well. The next trial will take you beyond the palace and into the world outside. You will face situations that test your judgment, your compassion, and your courage. Remember, true strength is not measured by force, but by the choices you make when confronted with uncertainty. The Queen waved her hand, and a small, floating platform appeared. Alex stepped onto it, feeling it lift gently into the air. Through the open balcony doors, the city below stretched like a living tapestry, its towers glowing softly in the evening light. The platform moved smoothly, carrying him to the edge of the palace grounds, where the first of the outdoor challenges awaited. Alex looked down at the city, then at the distant horizon where the twin suns were setting. He felt a mixture of excitement and determination. Each trial, each challenge, was not merely a test of skill or knowledge. It was an opportunity to prove that humans could rise to the challenges of the galaxy with courage, intelligence, and empathy. As he stepped off the platform onto the first test ground, a sense of purpose filled him. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, but he felt ready. He had accepted the Queen's hand without hesitation, and he would continue to do so. Not out of bravado, but out of a genuine desire to understand, to help, and to face whatever trials the galaxy and the alien queen would present. The first outdoor challenge revealed itself. A field of shifting terrain, where rocks, plants, and streams moved unpredictably. Creatures native to Zyrath observed him carefully, testing his reactions and decisions. Alex moved slowly, observing patterns, helping creatures in need, and avoiding danger with careful attention. He realized that the palace's lessons extended into the living world. Empathy, observation, and action were inseparable. By the time the suns had fully set, Alex had completed the first stage of the outdoor trials. The creatures had accepted his presence. The terrain had been navigated without harm, and he had proven that he could act wisely and kindly even in an unpredictable environment. The platform returned, lifting him back to the palace balcony. The queen watched silently as he stepped off, her expression unreadable, but thoughtful. "You are unlike any who have come before," she said finally. "Continue on this path, and you may discover not only the truths of my world, but also the truths within yourself." Alex nodded. "I will, Your Majesty. I promise to continue learning and to face each trial with honesty and care." She gave a faint, approving nod. "Then the next steps await. Rest now, for tomorrow will bring challenges that will test your courage, your heart, and your resolve in ways you cannot yet imagine." Alex looked out over the city once more, feeling a mix of anticipation and determination. The journey had only just begun, but he already knew that each trial, each challenge, was a step toward understanding, trust, and a bond that could change the course of human and alien history alike. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a quiet certainty. He had chosen the right path, and there was no turning back now. The morning sun of Zyrath bathed the crystalline palace in a soft golden glow, reflecting off towers and floating gardens like a sea of diamonds. Alex stood on the balcony, taking in the beauty of the world below. It had been several days since he accepted the Queen's hand, and the palace trials had already tested his patience, intelligence, and courage. Yet, he knew the journey was far from over. Queen Arinya appeared beside him, her presence calm and regal as always. She gazed at the horizon, where delicate floating islands drifted in the sky. "Today, you will leave the palace," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "The next stage is not about skill alone. It is about understanding the world I govern, the challenges my people face, and the wisdom to act rightly." Alex nodded. "I am ready, Your Majesty. I want to understand your world fully, not just the palace or its tests, but everything it means to lead." She studied him silently, a small hint of admiration in her eyes. "Very well. Follow me." They descended to the palace gardens, a breathtaking expanse of flora unlike anything Alex had seen. Giant plants with translucent leaves glowed softly, while flowers sang in gentle tones when touched by the wind. Streams of luminous water wound between the gardens, reflecting the twin suns' light. Small creatures, some winged and shimmering, flitted between the plants. "Your first task today is observation," Arinya said. "These gardens are home to many species. Some live in harmony, while others face danger or scarcity. A wise leader does not only issue commands. They observe, learn, and act with care. Watch closely, and you will see what must be done." Alex moved carefully, noting every detail. He saw a group of small creatures struggling to find food among the glowing plants. Another creature had become trapped in a vine, its movements frantic. Alex approached slowly, speaking softly in a human tone, though he did not expect the creatures to understand. Still, his presence seemed to calm them. Using a combination of careful handling and observation, he freed the trapped creature and guided the others toward a safer part of the garden where food was plentiful. Arinya watched silently, her expression unreadable. This is rare. Many beings would ignore these small matters, seeing only the larger picture. But leadership requires attention to all levels of life, from the smallest to the largest. Alex smiled faintly. I believe every life matters, Your Majesty. Small acts can create big change, and understanding comes from seeing everything, not just what is obvious. The Queen nodded approvingly. Good, but your trial is not yet complete. Come with me. She led him to a platform that hovered above a valley filled with floating cities and energy fields. You will now witness my people in their daily lives, she explained. Some thrive, some struggle, and some require guidance. You must decide how to assist, if at all. Your choices will show your judgment and wisdom. As they floated above the cities, Alex observed carefully. He noticed a dispute between two alien factions, one accusing the other of stealing resources. A group of young aliens struggled to maintain a floating garden threatened by unstable energy currents. He also saw a child separated from its parent, frightened and alone. Alex's mind raced as he considered the best way to act. He could intervene directly, but that might interfere with natural leadership processes. He could observe and report to the Queen, but she had already made it clear that she wanted to see his judgment in action. After careful thought, he decided to approach each situation with balance, offering guidance and assistance without imposing himself. He first addressed the dispute between the factions. Using clear and calm communication, he helped both sides see each other's perspective. He suggested a compromise that allowed both groups to share resources fairly. The aliens, initially wary, accepted his mediation, impressed by the humans' calm and thoughtful approach. Next, he moved to the struggling garden. He analyzed the energy currents, using his understanding of physics combined with observation of the plant's behavior. Carefully, he adjusted small energy conduits to stabilize the currents, allowing the garden to thrive once more. The young aliens watched in awe, grateful for the subtle but effective solution. Finally, he found the frightened child and guided it back to its parent, using gentle words and steady actions. The reunion was simple, yet meaningful, and Alex felt a quiet satisfaction knowing that he had helped without forcing control. Arinya observed all of this in silence. You understand balance, empathy, and action, she said when they returned to the palace. Many would act impulsively or selfishly. You have demonstrated that you can think beyond yourself, and that is the mark of one who may stand beside me. Alex bowed slightly. I am learning, Your Majesty. I hope to continue learning every day. The Queen gave a faint smile, almost imperceptible but genuine. Learning is only the beginning. You must also face scrutiny from those who do not wish for our worlds to unite. Politics, pride, and fear will challenge you at every step. Alex listened carefully. I understand. I will face them as I have faced the trials. As they walked through the palace halls, news reached them that some alien leaders were beginning to question Earth's role in Zyrath affairs. A few whispered doubts, subtly testing Alex's resolve, hoping he might falter under pressure. But Alex remained composed. He greeted each delegation politely, answered their questions thoughtfully, and treated every challenge as an opportunity to demonstrate respect and intelligence. Some delegates were skeptical, some curious, and some openly dismissive. Yet, Alex did not waver. He knew that showing humanity's potential required consistent behavior, not grand gestures. Each interaction was a step toward proving that humans could be reliable, thoughtful, and courageous partners in galactic relations. In the evening, The queen invited Alex to join her in the palace observatory. The room was vast, filled with holographic displays of planets, stars, and trade routes. Arinya moved gracefully, touching panels and creating visual maps that highlighted critical aspects of her world. "You see, Alex," she said, her voice calm and instructive, "leadership is not only about strength or wisdom. It is about connection. Understanding trade, communication, and diplomacy is essential. But more than that, it is about the ability to inspire trust and respect, even among those who fear or doubt you." Alex nodded, absorbing every word. "I see, Your Majesty. Trust and respect must be earned, not demanded. And understanding others' needs and fears is just as important as understanding their strengths." The queen looked at him intently. "Correct. Many who come before me fail because they see only themselves or their own people. They forget that leadership spans worlds, not just kingdoms. You have demonstrated that you are willing to see beyond yourself. That is why you continue to succeed where others have faltered." 3. Alex felt a quiet pride, but he remained humble. "I still have much to learn. Every step, every interaction teaches me something new. I hope to be worthy of standing beside you, Your Majesty." Arinya's gaze softened slightly, a rare gesture of personal regard. "Perhaps you are already more worthy than you realize. But courage, patience, and understanding will continue to be tested. Tomorrow, you will face challenges that are not merely trials, but lessons in leadership and unity." Alex remained silent for a moment, reflecting on the day. The palace had already taught him much observation, empathy, judgment, and diplomacy. But the queen's words reminded him that the true challenges were not only about skill or courage, but about heart, integrity, and vision. As the night fell over Zyrath, the palace shimmered under the twin moons. Lights from the floating gardens reflected softly in the pools below, creating an atmosphere of serenity and wonder. Alex stood at the balcony once more, looking out at the luminous city. He thought about the people he had helped today, the small victories that had made a difference, and the larger challenges that awaited. He realized that this journey was bigger than any single trial. It was a path toward understanding, not just of the Queen and her world, but of himself and humanity's place in the galaxy. Each day brought lessons that could shape the future, and he felt a deep sense of responsibility to act wisely, courageously, and compassionately. Queen Arinya joined him quietly, her presence steady and comforting. "Rest well tonight, Alex," she said. "Tomorrow will bring new lessons, and the world beyond these walls will test you in ways that cannot be predicted. But I trust that you will face them with the same wisdom and courage you have shown today." Alex bowed slightly, feeling both excitement and resolve. "I will, Your Majesty. I am ready for whatever comes next." The queen studied him for a moment longer, then turned her gaze to the stars above. "Good. For tomorrow, the true measure of partnership begins not in trials alone, but in the choices that will shape lives and destinies. Remember, courage is not only in action, but in understanding, patience, and compassion." Alex watched the stars with her, feeling the weight and significance of the path he had chosen. Each trial, each challenge, and each lesson brought him closer to understanding not just the alien queen, but the responsibilities and possibilities of standing beside her. He knew the days ahead would be filled with unexpected trials, political tension, and difficult decisions. Yet, for the first time in his life, Alex felt fully prepared not just to face challenges, but to embrace them as opportunities to grow, to understand, and to make a difference in the galaxy. And in the quiet of the palace night, Alex felt a sense of purpose and connection, knowing that his choice to accept the Queen's hand without hesitation had set him on a path that could change not only their lives, but the fate of two worlds. The day of the union had arrived. Zyrath's skies were painted in shades of orange and pink, as the twin suns rose above the horizon. The city shimmered with a golden light, and every floating tower and crystalline spire reflected the beauty of the morning. Delegates from countless worlds had gathered, their curiosity and skepticism blending with awe. The event was more than a ceremony. It was a statement to the galaxy that two species could unite through trust, courage, and understanding. Alex walked through the palace corridors, his heart steady but filled with anticipation. The trials, lessons, and days of learning had prepared him for this moment, yet he could not ignore the weight of responsibility. Today would not only define his future but also the future of human-alien relations across the galaxy. Queen Arinya waited at the central dais, her figure radiant under the ceremonial lights. Her shimmering silver skin reflected the soft sunlight, and her violet eyes, full of intelligence and dignity, met Alex's with quiet confidence. Though no words were exchanged, a mutual understanding passed between them. They were ready. The ceremony began. Delegates watched in respectful silence as the Queen and Alex approached the ceremonial platform. Traditional music of Zyrath filled the air, a soft harmony that resonated with both human and alien ears. The union was not only symbolic, it was a promise of cooperation, empathy, and shared destiny. As the officiant spoke, Alex glanced at the crowd. He noticed some leaders who had doubted him, their expressions a mixture of surprise and tentative respect. Others observed quietly, unsure how to react to a human standing beside the most powerful ruler of Zyrath. Alex remained calm. He knew that his actions in the coming hours would speak louder than any words. The ceremony proceeded smoothly, the ancient rituals blending alien traditions with moments that acknowledged the human presence. When it came time for vows, Arinya looked at Alex, her gaze steady and thoughtful. "I pledge not only to lead but to understand, to share, and to protect," she said, her voice carrying through the hall. "And I welcome a partner who will do the same." Alex stepped forward, his voice clear and firm. "I pledge to stand beside you, to learn, to support, and to act with courage, wisdom, and honesty. Not for glory, but because I respect and admire you and your people." A quiet murmur passed through the crowd. The sincerity in his words touched even the most skeptical leaders. Alex had proven through trials, observation, and action that his courage was genuine, his understanding deep, and his intentions pure. Just as the ceremony reached its height, a sudden commotion erupted at the edge of the platform. A group of alien leaders who opposed the union stepped forward, their expressions tense. They had hoped that their interference would test Alex's resolve, or perhaps force him to falter under pressure. Alex did not panic. He remembered every lesson from the palace and the trials: observation, patience, empathy, and the ability to act decisively when needed. He calmly assessed the situation. The dissenting leaders were armed with subtle energy devices, not to harm directly, but to create chaos and fear. He raised his hands slowly, projecting calm and confidence. "Please," he said in a firm voice, "this is a moment for unity, not conflict. We can resolve this without violence." Some leaders hesitated, surprised by the human's calm approach. Alex continued, moving slowly toward the edge, keeping his posture open and non-threatening. "I understand your concerns. Speak, and I will listen. But this day is about trust, respect, and cooperation. Let us not let fear dictate our actions." The Queen observed quietly, her eyes sharp and calculating. She had trained leaders and rulers across the galaxy, yet Alex's demeanor impressed her. It was not just courage, he acted with wisdom, empathy, and a calm understanding of power. After a tense moment, the dissenting leaders lowered their energy devices. A few words of negotiation, combined with Alex's steady presence, helped them see that aggression would accomplish nothing. Slowly, the group stepped back, allowing the ceremony to continue. The hall breathed a collective sigh of relief. And Alex returned to the Queen's side, his calm smile reassuring. The officiant nodded and resumed the ceremony. By the authority of the galaxy and the traditions of Zyrath, I declare this union a bond of mutual respect, courage, and shared destiny. As Alex and Arinya stood together, a soft wave of light radiated from the dais, reflecting the harmony of two species joining in partnership. The crowd erupted in applause, cheers, and awe. For the first time in centuries, a human had not only stood beside the alien queen, but had proven worthy in her eyes, in the eyes of her people, and across the galaxy. After the ceremony, celebrations began in the palace gardens. Delegates mingled, sharing stories, laughter, and ideas. Alex moved among them with ease, answering questions, offering insights, and demonstrating the qualities that had earned him the Queen's trust. He saw curiosity transform into respect, and skepticism give way to admiration. The Queen led Alex through the floating gardens, where luminous plants glowed in gentle patterns. "You have shown more than courage, Alex," she said softly. "You have shown understanding, patience, and a willingness to see beyond yourself. That is rare, even among my own people." Alex looked at her, his respect evident. "I have only done what I hoped was right, Your Majesty. You have guided me with wisdom, and I have learned every step of the way." A gentle smile touched her features. "Then you have proven that humans are not only capable of courage, but of wisdom, empathy, and partnership. Today is the beginning, not the end. Together, we will shape a future that neither species could achieve alone." As the day turned to evening, the twin moons rose over Zyrath, casting silver light across the city. The palace shimmered like a beacon, visible for miles, symbolizing unity and hope. Alex and Arinya stood on the balcony, overlooking the celebrations below. "Do you see it?" she asked, her voice soft. "The galaxy is watching. What we have done today sends a message that fear does not control destiny, and courage can create change." Alex nodded. "I see it, and I am proud to stand beside you. Not because of power or fame, but because I believe in this, us, and the possibility of a better future." The Queen regarded him, her violet eyes reflecting the moon's. "Few would have stepped forward without hesitation. Few would have faced my trials, my world, and the skepticism of the galaxy with such clarity and heart. You are truly remarkable, Alex." He smiled humbly. "I only hope to continue proving myself worthy, not just today, but every day that follows." In the days that followed, the union was celebrated across Zyrath and reported to other planets. Humans were seen in a new light, not as newcomers, but as beings capable of courage, intelligence, and diplomacy. Alex's actions, combined with the Queen's wisdom, set a precedent for cooperation between species. The palace trials became a symbol of possibility. That understanding, empathy, and courage could overcome fear and superstition. Leaders who had once doubted began to consult Alex, valuing his insight and perspective. Delegates and ambassadors alike recognized that humans could be trusted partners in the complex web of galactic relations. Even more importantly, the Queen and Alex grew closer not just as rulers, but as friends and partners. They shared knowledge, dreams, and the responsibility of guiding a world filled with wonder and challenge. Each day brought new lessons, new opportunities, and new ways to strengthen the bond between their people. One evening, as they stood once more on the palace balcony, the city below bathed in the silver glow of the moons, Alex turned to Arinya. "I never imagined a life like this," he said softly. "But I know now that stepping forward, without hesitation, was the right choice." The Queen placed a hand on his arm, her touch light but meaningful. "It was not just your courage, Alex. It was your heart, your understanding, and your willingness to see beyond yourself. That is why we are here, and why the future is full of promise. Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey had been long and challenging, filled with trials, tests, and lessons, but every step had led him here, to a place where two worlds could unite, not through fear or power, but through trust, courage, and understanding. As the night sky of Xyrath stretched above them, dotted with stars and distant planets, Alex realized that this was only the beginning. The union with the Queen was more than a ceremony, it was the start of a journey that could change the galaxy. And he was ready to face it, not alone, but with the Queen, by his side. Together, they looked toward the future, knowing that courage, compassion, and wisdom could overcome any challenge, and that their partnership would be remembered as a turning point in galactic history. For Alex, the choice to say yes without hesitation had not only changed his life, but it had also proven that humans, when guided by integrity and courage, could stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest beings in the galaxy. And as he watched the city shimmer beneath the moons, he felt certain that humanity had finally found its place among the stars.